evil science and magic buddies.
Hello and welcome. The Cryptonaut podcast presents Evil Science and Magic Buddies, the show within the show, the conspiracy of the conspiracy, the Crypto Roundtable. This week, gentlemen, we are doing Listener Stories Part 23.
Hot diggity damn.
Listeners got stories.
They got stories. My name is Mark Storrs, and with me, as always, is
Bobby the Brain Morphy.
Nice. There you go. I like it. I like a little callback to some classic wrestling. And you, good sir, are...
Chris Carnesali.
Nah, love it. Everyone thought it was a Patreon scenario for a minute, didn't we?
I know. I was trying to think of a Chris that I'm like, I couldn't think of one.
All right, man. Well, hey, Chris Carnesali, we are glad to be here. Thank you all for tuning in every week, checking this out. Spooky season here, more listener stories. But before we get to that, we have an upcoming Discord event that is available on the Patreon at patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. Saturday, October 28th at 8:30 p.m. We normally do these on a Friday, but we've moved the day to a Saturday. So it is Saturday, October 28th, 8:30 p.m. Movie night with the boys, The Gates of Hell.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to be super fun.
Classic
super awesome.
Italian bloodbath.
Yes.
So fun, so surreal, so Lovecraftian, so Italian.
Yeah, this is going to be super fun. So be sure to join us in the Discord. If you're on the $1, the $5, you can get on that Discord. Also, too, speaking of Patreon, real quick, top of the show, we want to put this out there. Patreon recently launched, not launched.
Oh, no, they may have lost.
They may have lost, yeah.
Because of what Mark's about to say.
Yeah, so they recently launched a new feature where it's like join for free, which used to be the follow feature. So if you do this, we've had some people that got confused with it, but we kind of straightened them out. If you hit the join for free option, you will be notified whenever we put up Patreon content. You don't get anything for free. It's a way to follow the pod on Patreon. You can see what we put up. If you're interested, you can join. It's kind of a weird feature. We're not really sure how we feel about it yet.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
It makes people I don't want them to get confused thinking that they're getting something for free when they're not. But all you do is you get updates about when we post Patreon material. And then if you want to join, you can click the button. Yeah. And you can join. So
it'll inform you of how much we put in there. So then you can make a decision whether you want to join or not. And be like, oh, well, they do a lot of stuff. Maybe it's worth joining the Patreon.
And across the board, everyone that is a creator on Patreon like ourselves, we're all confused. Because it doesn't make any...
No, it's confusing.
They changed a bunch of shit. It doesn't make any sense. Uploading an episodes now is such a pain. It's like a 4-step process. It used to be a 1-step process. But whatever. It is what it is. Patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. Boys, we're getting spooky. We're back in the studio. We're together. We're mere feet from each other.
Yeah, we are.
I could reach out with my toes.
You could.
And I could touch you. Actually, I didn't realize how far away you are.
You need two legs at least.
No, we have a pretty good sized table.
We do.
But it's a round table.
It is.
It's Arthurian.
It's the perfect sized table, though.
It really is.
A little
100%.
bit smaller. It'd been like,
easy eye contact.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so much better than that fucking big old fucking table we were using before.
Well, you guys were like Odin levels far. Like Valhalla tables.
That's true.
Yeah, it's our Batman 89 table, the Past Us All table.
Fair enough.
I'm Kim Basinger. You're Batman.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sorry, Michael Keaton.
Yeah, that's fine.
You'll always be my Batman.
Thanks.
Mood lighting, we're getting creepy. Robert, we got some listener stories. Now, these stories come to us from listeners who have had encounters with creatures that we have covered in past episodes.
I love your themes.
Oh, shit.
So what I'm going to do is, in case if you're a follower of the show and you're familiar with these cases, you'll know off the bat. If not, in the description of this podcast, I will have links to all the different creatures. That way, if you're like, oh, I didn't know about the gray ghost of Kinchafoonee or whatever, you could jump in and check that out. So,
and I'll do a little like a little primer just to help you out, first of all.
Totally.
So the first encounter that we'll be dealing with is the resurrection of the Copenhagen Devil.
Oh, that's local to us, boys.
Resurrection.
Yeah. Local.
Right on.
There it is.
So I'm just going to go right to cryptopia.us, which is basically the script for the original episode. And on Friday, May 25th, 1900, so way back in the day, the Watertown Daily Times published a bizarre account of a potentially dangerous horned white beast which had terrified a trio of intrepid monster hunters just 3 days earlier. That would be, of course, May 22nd. Two men, Homer Ward and J.D. Dryden, were making the 6-mile journey to Copenhagen from Deer River, which is nestled deep in upstate New York. The men were returning from the farmhouse of their friend Charles Bowie in a horse and buggy, which was being driven by Ward. The short trip had been uneventful when Dryden suddenly noticed what he described as a large white object in a fenced-in lot a little ways from the roadside. So to cut to it, it's basically this lumbering, like old school, like when Marvel Comics did like bulky monsters every other episode before they became all superhero ridden, and then Fantastic Four still had monsters galore. This is just basically just this massive white, long-tailed, horned thing. And it was seen in this field, and they dealt with it. And I think they ran away. And so they went back to a farm owned by Ward, and they encountered one Miss Nancy Klein, who lived at Ward's home. And though they don't really clarify the nature of the relationship. And then Klein, either through youthful exuberance, feminine wiles, or intellectual prodding, or perhaps the simple challenge to their manhood, managed to convince the perturbed men to travel the short distance back to the lot to investigate the fiend.
I remember the dare.
So they ran away.
Yeah,
The girl's like, oh no, Nancy Drew has to see this shit. And so the intrepid trio, armed only with a lantern and their pluck, set out down the dark and lonely stretch of road. But before they arrived, Klein heard an eerie snort. The group aimed the lantern's beam forward and spied the potentially albino beast perched on its haunches in the middle of the road. So not much happens. I think it just books at that point.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of a sheep squatch vibe to it.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is the original May 1900 encounter. Now, I have not read the modern run-in, but I'm fascinated because apparently one of our listeners has had an experience with something similar.
Yeah.
So without further ado, this comes to us from Dustin.
Yes.
And we'll just leave it at that. Quote, I suppose I should just relay the events of this chronologically. My wife, Brandy, 31 years old, grew up around upstate New York. She often visited and eventually lived with her grandmother for most of her younger years. There was a cemetery up the road that her grandma used as a limit for how far she was allowed to be from the house by herself. I remember those.
Like there was always limits. Don't go past the deli or whatever. Right.
Exactly. The fourth telephone pole or, whoever's house.
Or a street, something.
I have not thought about those restrictions in decades. That's fascinating.
I tell Charlie, you don't go past the Lake Ave Bridge. You got everywhere, don't go past the bridge.
There it is. It's perfect. That's fucking awesome.
Boundaries.
Brandy would go to it every day and loved it so much that just a few years ago, she got a tattoo of it on her forearm. That's nice. My wife has always enjoyed cemeteries. She frequented them to draw, paint, or just walk around in, and has ghost hunted in them with her friends growing up and even until recently. I'm also 31 years old, originally from Syracuse, and I've been in the military for just over a decade. We have been together for 8 years and married for 5. We have moved several times around upstate New York, as I've spent most of my career stationed at Fort Drum. Oh, we had a buddy there, Stefan. Who was there for the longest time.
And Dustin here's a local boy, man. 315 represent. What's
Hell
up?
yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, shit, all right.
Shit, Syracuse in the house.
Hometown hero. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, dude.
And my wife always requests we find a place near a cemetery, or is always extra interested in properties near one. I overstate her obsession with cemeteries because it becomes significant later. After returning from overseas, we decided we wanted to relocate somewhere a bit outside of the Watertown area. Copenhagen seemed perfect for that. The nice, quiet town where everyone knows your name. Not just that, but lo and behold, a beautiful cemetery within walking distance of our residence. We were sold and moved in at the end of February of this year, 2022. It wasn't until mid-April that my wife finally explored the cemetery, due to the unpleasant upstate weather and getting the place unpacked and put together. But this would be the first and last time she did visit it. As she describes it, it was about 1 to 2 p.m. on a gloomy mid-April day when she took her bike for a ride. Upon arriving, she immediately got an unsettling feeling that she was being watched. But as it was the middle of the day, she didn't think too much of it. She dismounted her bike and began pushing it along the dirt path, stopping at an impressive memorial. While admiring it, she spotted the thing lurking in the wood line at the back of the cemetery. Tall, lean, pale, and what she said were branch-like antlers, or possibly just the tree it was behind, giving a similar illusion. It had no face that she could see from that distance. I estimated it at about 75 meters, but could tell it was staring at her. Now, that gives me not only Copenhagen Devil vibes, but the pale white, but Wendigo.
Well, antler, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a Mike Mignola thing and
Right.
other, tropes that have become the modern interpretation of it.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, you can't help but get that, that vibe from it. Just then, it shot straight up like a white bolt and disappeared, either above or behind the trees, out of sight. She got on her bike and pedaled as quickly as she could home, which was luckily a short distance, without ever looking back. Once she was home and the door was locked, that's when she called me at work. She called it a skinwalker, despite being over 50% Chippewa. I've never heard her use this term, nor refer to any Native American lore before then. I'll admit I didn't invest as much into her words as I probably should have at the time, given that she is my wife. This isn't normal behavior from her, and I often told myself if something like this ever happened, I wouldn't be the fool in the monster movie that scoffs it off only to be the next victim. So sage. I've often said the same exact thing about myself. I'm like, or if a kid tells you some shit, I know the whimsy of a child, Mark.
Yeah,
but if a kid lays some serious shit on you, you know what? Give them the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, it's that or eternal damnation.
Or at least just park it somewhere in your brain.
Yeah.
To access.
But don't
later.
dismiss it. Don't throw it
Yeah.
in the nightmare pile instantly.
Totally.
Yeah. So I completely get this. Yet it was a busy day at work, and I was only half paying attention. Weeks went by and it slipped from my mind almost completely, as we didn't speak of it except on the occasions I asked her if she wanted to go for a walk with the dog and through the cemetery. She always said no. When I did take the dog through, even he became unsettled, which also made me unsettled. He would pause and stare into the woods or look at me with his physique tensed as if to shout, "Let's not go any further." Yet I'd pull him along anyway. Honestly, at the time, I was supposing he was possibly seeing spirits or something paranormal as opposed to the supernatural or cryptozoological. I wasn't making the connection to her interaction and these ones, the ones that the dog was having.
Yeah.
He adds in parentheses, full caps, exclamation point, fool.
Well,
Fool. I was a fool.
Yep.
Sometimes you gotta get all the information and you can start putting the pieces together. You gotta gather all the intel.
Sometimes it's a poltergeist, but you're convinced it's a UFO.
You never know.
We've all been down that road.
Right, dude. Stardust Ranch, dude. Don't even make me bring it up
Sometimes it's
again.
a wraith, but you think it's a ghast.
Oh, dude, there you
is.
go. There it is.
Stupid.
Yep. Then, about a month after the first encounter, something else happened. My wife was walking the dog out back along a narrow strip of woods, sometimes around 10 or 11 p.m., when she said she heard a large, singular crack, like a thick branch snapping, and saw the same thing from the cemetery, only this time it was, quote-unquote, hunched over and squatting. Very Copenhagen Devilish.
Yes, it is.
Again, she could feel it staring at her, attempting to hide and observe her. Another crack, and she said it appeared to slowly inch toward them. Brandy told me our dog was frozen in place until she pulled on his collar and she ran home, and our dog then blazed by her as the two made a speedy retreat. I don't blame it. I was on a 24-hour shift at work when she called me and told me this. I told her to lock the doors and I'd be home around 6 a.m. She texted me that night and told me that she heard noises of scuffling outside the bedroom window and raps at the brick walls outside. That's just a fucking nightmare scenario.
Dude, when it's kind of fucking with you a little bit, like it knows that you saw it and it's like, oh, you saw me? Have a good night's sleep. And
And glass.
Just doing asshole things.
Just doing shitty things. Like, come outside so I can fucking eat you. Come outside.
Yeah, no, it's
That's
just
what it wants to do.
it's unreliable. And it's not like,
It's
you know,
unreliable. You're right.
I wouldn't rely on that.
That's a great way to describe it. If this creature at night wanted to eat you, it's unreliable.
completely. You can't trust its agenda.
All of cryptids are unreliable.
Mothman, completely unreliable.
And Dustin's
Dude,
not down
wild
with the
card
plant.
mania.
He can't just like come home.
Yeah.
He's serving the Lord and nation.
He's on a 24-hour shift, dude. I just love you call him unreliable. It's phenomenal, dude. Oh my god.
No, it works for a lot. I mean, all these things
honestly,
are unreliable.
it really covers
Yeah.
every cryptid ever.
Oh, totally.
The Dover Demon, 100%
Oh,
unreliable.
completely. Enfield horror. Fuck.
Yeah, eating sneakers and trashing fucking ACs. Fuck that thing. All right, continuing.
When I got home, I saw no marks or evidence of anything lurking. That is, until later that day when I took the dog for a walk myself. In that narrow strip of woods, roughly 100 meters behind my house, a small deer had been torn apart. Not just eaten, but its leg bones were snapped in half and ripped from the body. Fur and bone were scattered in a 10 by 10 foot area. I asked her about this, and she said she didn't hear anything like an animal attacking or being attacked. The body of that animal is still out there, decayed and hidden under the brush. The fuck is that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, massacred. So it's not like leftover hunting shit.
No.
And we know the creature around here. I mean, I guess there's, coy dogs. There's
But they're
yeah.
scavengers. They
Yep.
eat.
very rarely wild cats. Like, I don't even know, do we have wild cats?
Well,
in
where,
CNY?
where Copenhagen is, there is like there's bobcat sightings in like Moravia.
But those motherfuckers don't Tony Jaa a leg.
No. Most any large animals that will do
Yes.
that to a deer they'll eat them. They'll scavenge them. They're not going to just let them sit there like that.
That's
Doesn't
just
matter.
like breaking apart a small
No,
animal is like a
not for-
warning sign.
Yeah, no, they're not going to just split a fawn in half and be like,
Split a fawn.
"Have a good day."
Oh, a fawn sub.
Fawn, yeah. But yeah, most
Quiznos.
I think. I'm not a wildlife expert, Mark Stores, by any means, but I'm pretty sure any animal that could do that they'd be eating that thing. They wouldn't just leave it as a warning, unless it's a creature not of this world.
Oh,
You may not have heard me. Not of this world.
from another world.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
No, I know. We know what that
Yeah.
means.
Okay, just
Thanks.
make sure. Just say that's it. That's it. That's
Right
it.
on.
Thanks, Mark.
The implications are deep. It does remind me though of the initial trip back in 2000 to Pearl River and the Honey Island Swamp Monster
Oh,
dock.
yes.
And
With
that-
the alligators got torn apart, right?
No, the wild boars.
Oh,
like
shit, that's
literally
right.
the heads ripped off, and you saw like spirally like a scarf of flesh.
Yeah.
Like the bone was jaggedly ripped. It wasn't like poaching. It was
Right.
just like this tendril of skin and grizzle, fucking
Yeah.
nasty, spinning around, and guts and offal everywhere. It was fucking just.
I remember you showed me that
mind-blowing.
footage, and I'm like, what in the fuck tears heads off of boars? And you're like, I don't know, dog.
I don't know.
I have
Animals
no
are fucked
idea.
up, though.
But I'll tell you one thing: it's unreliable.
It's definitely unreliable.
no.
It's also not of this world. Yeah, there it is.
Continuing. I don't walk my dog after dark anymore, and neither of us have gone back to the cemetery until today to take pictures and estimate ranges for you. And thank you. A plethora of really detailed pictures were sent with this story, and it really helps. So really appreciate that. Thank you. That was roughly 3 months ago. Since then, she hasn't reported seeing or hearing anything out of the ordinary besides the uncomfortable feeling of being watched. As I do too now when I'm out and even driving by the cemetery in the middle of the day, it triggers goosebumps. Again, this slipped from the front to the back of my mind until today. I was driving back from the Sterling Renaissance Festival.
Oh, been there many times.
Oh,
Hell
shit.
yeah, dude.
When your podcast came on. Oh, look at that. I feel like we're in the story. This is meta as shit.
Oh, we are in the story.
The Copenhagen Devil. One of the first few, I believe, but the podcasts were set to shuffle. I couldn't believe there was a story right there in my backyard. I was very excited to hear what horror could be residing in this tiny town. But as I listened, it became clear that what was described in that podcast could very well be the same or at least a similar creature to what my wife had been experiencing over the last several months. And that's when it clicked. When I got home, I asked her every detail she could remember of those instances and contacted you through Discord. As of right now, my wife doesn't know about that podcast or the story of the Copenhagen Devil because I didn't want her to unintentionally alter her story after hearing it. Very smart.
Yeah,
well
no,
done.
Yeah,
it's like getting people in different rooms to draw what they
good
saw before they
investigation
talk.
technique.
All right.
There you go.
Also, I should mention that Deer River is just up the road from us, only 5 to 7 minutes, by car.
Nice.
So that's interesting. I will attach several photos of the cemetery and where she was standing, where she saw the thing, some of the area behind the cemetery that leads to the river, the narrow woods where the shredded deer skeleton resides, and anything else I think will be helpful. Let me know if they aren't clear or if you'd like different angles. The pictures that look down on the river aren't great, but all along that slope look like burrows and dugouts, although I didn't go investigate as to how large or deep they were. Maybe another time. ...
Yeah, dude. The pictures here, it is kind of interesting. You can kind of get a feel for like this whole area, like where she sees
overgrown
everything.
and creepy and awesome.
Yeah, those weird little burrow areas are kind of interesting too. I know that we've put this out there before. Just recently we did this. Actually, Chris brought this up. I wonder if the Copenhagen Devil, though. I mean, obviously, I want this to be some sort of sweet, unreliable, phantasmagorical beast.
Sure,
that is like a fucking demon or some earth spirit or something.
Interdimensional as the Dickens.
Exactly. Well, what if we're dealing with something that's fucking that is like located in the earth? It burrows and comes up and it comes down.
So what would lend some credibility to that from a zoological perspective is, of course, like a lot of cave-dwelling salamanders, amphibians, fish, they lose pigmentation because they, have no need for it.
Yep.
A lot of times they lose eyesight, especially if they're living in pitch blackness, like blind cavefish. There's no indication that this thing is blind. It seems to be able to sense, and it's up above ground. So just because it's white doesn't mean anything. But what I find interesting is that there is nothing that we know of in the zoological record that is anything like this, like at all.
No, not at all.
Right.
And this seems to be like if I recall, the original Copenhagen Devil was a little bulkier. This seems to be a little more slender, but it could very well be just a different iteration, a different generation of the same corporeal creature, assuming it is corporeal. And if it is,
right,
then what the fuck? Again, is this something that like a cicada or something like hibernates for a prolonged period? Now I'm going into Jeepers Creepers territory. I know all of our science goes back to horror
13
cinema.
years.
I was seriously was so hard to not try. I was trying so hard not to reference Jeepers Creepers.
You have to though.
Or something. It lives in the ground. And maybe it comes out in a cycle and it takes your eyeballs and it plays a song for you.
I mean, does it come out like every 120? Or like multiple generations, like the movie Gargoyles. Again, the classic made-for-TV movie where they hatch every like century or so. They try to take over humanity and somehow dirt bikers stop them, thankfully.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I don't feel like this could possibly be a cryptozoological phenomenon because there's just no precedence for it. Unless, of course, it is a subterranean. But then again, something this large and just unseen. So then what does this leave us with? A visiting alien? No real evidence to indicate to that.
No.
Or something occult, perhaps.
It could go into Skinwalker territory.
How so?
If it's a Skinwalker.
Oh,
I mean, that's
nailed it.
I don't want to
check and mate, Rob.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Mister. I got my special hat, my headband. Things are unreliable. Guess what? Could be. You know what else? Could not be.
True. Fair enough. And
but
isn't that always the case?
Then again, I mean, that could. It has a. The ant. Maybe we shouldn't go there though because the ant. Well, that's more when to go, I guess. The antlers. That is like a classic like magnola
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's a classic nature, master of the hunt horror thing. The
Elemental.
Fucking,
I wonder if that's actually based in any like native lore though.
Possibly.
It's lore somewhere. I mean,
it's got to be. Well, who knows? We're talking about shit we have no fucking clue.
Well, I
what
mean,
it is.
not to validate what you were saying earlier, but if you want to go to Skinwalker lore, it is about donning the skins of whatever creature. Obviously, the wolf is the most infamous, but I mean, why not an elk or a deer, something with antlers?
Right.
So that could be part of the guise that helps it transform. But I get, again, that's really, really reaching.
Yeah.
I find it. First off, I feel bad because his wife loves cemeteries, loves walking around. I grew up in a cemetery. My dad was raised by a cemetery caretaker. St. Joe's right across from our high school. So visiting grandma as a kid with the giant mirror where I fucking tripped myself out and had existential crises, was in a brick house at the top of a cemetery. That's where we went for like Thanksgivings and shit. That was just, it's part of my life. I love playing in cemeteries too. So to have that corrupted and stolen from you, to try to live in a place where you can be near a cemetery and then now you're afraid to go out at night. And she's still like, she's doing whatever she's doing, but she feels like she's being watched. And part of that could be the natural paranoia of experiencing something. So you don't know when it becomes a symptom of the natural fear or when it is your real gut instincts telling you, fuck, I'm being watched.
Yeah. And especially obviously being located in Copenhagen and this story being there, I mean, that's kind of like got all the...
That's uncanny.
That is,
But the first Copenhagen Devil sighting, that thing was much afraid. It was big and scary, but it was not at all confrontational.
I think it like snorted at them. It was like laying there.
And then scooted or played possum.
Kind of like bailed, yeah.
And this seems like it's avoiding them at all costs. But is it also like dismembering fucking does to fucking, deliver a point? Or is that unrelated?
Almost like a stay out of my territory type of thing. Maybe it hunts and lives. Oh, what if it eats in the cemetery?
It hunts and lives.
Hunts and lives. Yeah. No, what if it's got some dude? What if it's a fucking like a dead like it eats fucking the corpses and shit in the graveyard?
So a ghoul.
Yes. It goes underground and that's where it fucking feasts on the bones of the dead.
It snags them from underground. So
that's
you don't
why
see disturbed graves.
Why it has the burrows.
It's a labyrinth of burrows.
And that's where it eats.
That's just good ecology.
Yeah.
That's
recycling.
recycling.
That's been explored in anything like.
No, that would be dope.
Smart enough to like eat the dead, but under the ground, so you don't ever.
But you know what ruins
fucking notice?
Embalming fluid. So that's why it's skinny now.
Yeah.
It was fat and happy back in 1900 because it was just eating the fresh dead or the stinky dead. It didn't give a fuck. But now we're full of fucking chemicals and preservatives, so he can't eat. It's puking up. It's fucking natural feasting is diminished.
Was this a movie though? Why do I think this is I think I saw it recently.
I've never seen a movie where something
I did.
snagged the dead from
below.
No,
under graveyards.
It was some dude who was a fucking... Oh, yes, it was in... I think it was in Del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities or whatever. I'm almost positive.
I never saw that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was a grave robber. Yeah. Okay, that was not my theory. That was
grave
Guillermo.
robber from below.
That was Del.
Really from under graveyards?
Yes. These creature things they like went in like 8 people because the guy was a grave robber and he was like fighting one of the things to get the thing.
Regardless.
Yeah, I don't want to take credit for something that ain't mine.
That's fine.
You know me.
No, but that's not. I mean, that's not even important. What is important is that over the course of 120 some odd years, 2 different groups of people, male and female, have seen what seemed to be a very similar creature in the same exact location in a place where things like this can't possibly exist,
totally.
and really close to our hometown, which is crazy.
Oh yeah.
And it might be a worthwhile trip at some point. I don't want to like overstep yet because you never know when it's now getting into the winter, but this might be like a fun local road trip. Maybe meet some folks, maybe check some territory out because this is a really intriguing phenomenon, and it's one of those like our fucking bread and butter where there's just no easy explanation. Yeah, no. This seems like, I mean, the only thing I can go, and this is the thing I hate the most because I always want it to be based in science or from outer fucking space, but this is a classic Heller space. If this isn't supernatural, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's, well, like you said, man, unreliable. Nice. All right, Robert, moving on. Our next story this eve is a follow-up to The Great Ghost of Kinchafoonee.
Oh, I love that one.
Which is It was like a weird,
it was like
tusk monkey or something.
Tusk monkey.
That's a great way of putting it.
You're not wrong.
It had elements of a pig, I recall, pointed ears, and gorilla aspects, but with like massive lower incisors, tusks, basically.
Yes, it was a super bizarre looking creature here. But yeah, we have an email here from a listener, Daniel, and he's got some follow up on the Gray Ghost of Kinchafoonee.
So, for anyone interested, and of course, Mark will be posting these, this is episode 30, and I'm just going to give just a little bit of a backdrop for anyone who might not be familiar. In the waning days of the summer of 55, on a lonely stretch of road in rural Georgia, a young forestry worker was pursued and viciously mauled by a humanoid creature that seems to have leapt from the pages of H.G. Wells' 1896 classic, The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Oh, you mean The Island of Dr. Monroe?
Monroe, yes. The Island of Dr. Monroe.
Dr. Monroe. Exactly.
That event took place on Monday, August 1st, 1955, and it was a 20-year-old by the name of Joseph Whaley who was mowing the hardy stalks of wild grass that grew on the land between the Braunwood-Smithville Highway and the swampy, alligator-infested Kinchafoonee, it's a Rooney, Creek.
Wow.
And he was doing it the old-fashioned way, with a fucking scythe.
That's right. And you know what? When you run to one of these fuckers, you know what you need? A scythe.
I think he was pissing or something. He bumped into this fucker in the woods, and it was a chase. It was like a Benny Hill chase, except terrifying. And he ended up running around the Jeep a few times.
Yeah, yes.
And it almost got him. And he obviously got away with his life, but he got the fuck beat out of him, as I recall, poor Whaley. And so that is the OG 55 Kinchafoonee. We will be moving on to a story one of our dear listeners sent us, and I'm super fucking stoked, Ovs. This story comes to us from Daniel. Thank you, Daniel.
Indeed.
Hi, Mark, Chris, and Rob. I don't appreciate being labeled last, but whatever. I don't give a fuck. I'm just kidding. I don't do shit.
Wow.
Behind
the scenes.
The look was great.
We all just gave Rob a look like mother.
Fucker. Really?
Nice. Wait till you see the documentary, the behind the scenes.
I know. Really.
Of why we broke up as of now.
The behind the music Cryptonaut edition.
Rob,
oh shit!
Rob is writing for himself.
Dude just can't see his name last.
Oh,
no
the fuck,
problem.
Man. Just because alphabetically it works that way.
He's just gonna get exiled to Substack and have to figure it out for himself.
Oh my god, I don't even know what that means.
Oh, posting on Rumble.
Oh, jeez Louise.
All right.
Okay.
All right. It's a Daniel story. Here we go.
I've been listening through the back catalog and got to the Gray Ghost of Kinchafoonee episode. And as I was listening, I went ice cold inside and froze and felt like I needed to tell you about my experience. This happened in my hometown of Warrington, England. So fucking across the pond. This isn't Georgia.
No. Oh, no. This is international, dude. This shit is spanning fucking
we
seas.
affect the world.
Yeah, exactly. We
Believe
affect
it.
the world.
We do.
Oh, God.
And you know what? We're gonna find some responsibility somewhere.
Yeah, we have global priorities.
Jesus Christ. Don't put that on Rob, please. He's already stressed as it is.
Oh, no, I'm good.
I have global
I'm not stressed
priorities.
at all. Yeah, no,
Everyone
I feel
calm
good.
down.
I'm intercontinental, Rob.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Intercontinental champion Robert.
Yeah, where's my belt?
Continuing.
I'm not saying I'm in
no.
Interpol. I'm just saying.
Oh, boy. Here we
So
go.
Daniel goes on to say, Warrington, England, strangely the same town as the Silverman sighting, which was your next episode. That's an interesting time.
Oh.
This guy's personal life goes 1-2 like that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Ergo, global responsibility.
There it is. Yeah, fair enough. Around September in 2004, when I was 16, oh, you youngster, I was coming home from the town at between 9:30 and 10:30 p.m. and had just got off the bus outside of my parents' street. The sun had long since gone down, and it was a fairly temperate night with a slightly cloudy sky and little to no wind. I crossed the road, walked along a small grassy area and onto the pavement. On my left-hand side were houses, and on the right across the road was a small wooded area called Little Moss Wood. Little
Oh,
mosswood.
that's adorable.
Oh, little mosswood.
Yeah, let's go down there and smoke cigarettes at Little Mosswood.
That's Bull Point for sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is the English version of Bull Point.
Definitely.
Yeah,
and it's
dude.
gnome infested.
Fuck yeah.
I pass this literally every day as the street my parents lived on is a dead end, so there is only one road in and out. I looked over to my right, as I usually did, and that's when I saw this thing. It was dark and the street lamps were only on my side of the road, but I got as good a look as I'd ever want to. Just inside the tree line, I saw a bulky thing, hunched over like a gorilla. Its eyes were in line with mine, so its head height was roughly the same as mine at 5'11". It had large pointed ears on the sides of its head, dark fur, and two beady eyes, which to me looked white. Oh, the white eye.
I hate it.
I hate it too.
Dude.
That's the scariest. Like, not cataract, but just like white. We've discussed it many times.
Yeah, no, hate it.
Oh, God. All right. So, yes, I'm already fucking terrified. But this could have been the light reflecting from them. Its most prominent feature was the two large white tusks that protruded from its bottom jaw. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah,
The
dude.
tusks.
They were spaced apart so that each one was roughly under an eye. They were slightly curved and somewhere between 2 and 3 inches in length. It was too dark to make out any other facial features as there were bushes in front of it and I couldn't see much below its head. I don't know about you guys, and I know it goes back to Gamera for me a little, but no, actually it goes before that. I think one of the reasons I love Gamera so much is because I think tusks are just the most badass thing.
No, I know what you're saying.
When something has tusks, like some monstrosity, it just, I don't know why. It just feels like it's fucking epically fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, it's like impressive. You're like, wait a minute.
Totally.
You got two big teeth. I can't deal with it. Like this.
And
I'm
the,
not
and the
ready for
under
this.
teeth coming up just for some reason is even more like fangs coming down, terrifying,
Right.
inappropriate, but the under fucking tusks.
Nah,
Yeah.
that's the shit that gets you, breaks your bones up, brings you down to the ocean to eat your fucking face.
There it is.
Yeah.
And this I'm loving because, I mean, this is uncannily like the Kinchafoonee thing, but in a completely different place.
Yeah, well, there's some other things kind of happen here.
All right. Okay. I had never felt actual terror before, but seeing this thing got a response out of me like nothing else has. I've never been that scared before or since. Tears started running down my face and I started to run home. It was only a short distance away, but for some reason I darted between the bright spots of the street lights. Something in me did not want to stay in the dark. That's fucking...
Dude.
That's a good instinct, though.
Well, yeah, because you're hoping maybe if you're in the light, I mean, there's nothing's going to stop it from going in the light.
No, not, I
Yeah,
mean, if it's
but
a
it's
normal...
a safe,
But I mean,
safer.
it's still a primordial response. Like,
Absolutely.
you don't want to. You got to book in the light.
Totally.
And all that is fine and fair, but I think if you want to take it a step further, if it is something of a paranormal, and by that I mean supernatural or occult nature, then it thrives in darkness and light might actually banish it.
Okay, gotcha.
okay.
If it is a cryptozoological phenomenon or just a simple predator, then
Right.
you're fucked regardless.
Yeah.
But, you know, light can be a savior in certain contexts if you're of a mind.
and you can see what you're doing and where you're going,
Yeah.
and if it's going to get you. Yeah.
Its usefulness
It's
is
useful. Yeah, here, let me list the usefulness of light.
But
seeing things.
hopscotching between like pools of light
Uh-huh.
on a dark road when you see this white-eyed, betusked,
Yeah, no,
that's a word,
yeah.
fucking thing in the woods.
It's 100% be tusked.
Nice.
It's fucking terrifying. Oy, oy, oy.
All right.
Okay. I know it saw me. We briefly stared at each other, but it hadn't followed me. I got home in about 30 seconds, slammed the door behind me, and locked it. I've been in Little Moss Wood plenty of times after, both at night and during the day, but haven't seen this thing since. I can confirm I'm not diabetic,
There you go.
had no drugs or alcohol at the time, and have never suffered from hallucinations. Those are good, because you can't take them off the table.
They know
until you
us.
do.
He knows us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
totally.
good.
Yeah.
The nearest zoo is in Chester, which is some distance away, and there were definitely no reports of escaped animals, though I don't know what fucking kind of animal that would be.
Man, if they got that fucking animal in that zoo, stay away from that zoo.
Yeah, no doubt.
That zoo is unreliable.
Warrington is a fairly large and built-up post-industrial town. The only wild animals we get in the area are squirrels, some foxes, and occasionally badgers, and that's bad enough.
Yeah.
Badgers.
And this was far too big for any of those. And I don't believe they usually have tusks. I can also confirm this definitely wasn't a farmer in a borrowed Halloween mask and a bedsheet. Going back to the explanation of Kinchafoonee.
I hadn't looked at the story in a long time, and then I went back to it, and because you have the picture here from fucking, and this is okay, gang, the gray ghost isn't real. It's actually Mr. Anonymous Southern Georgia farmer with the fucking Scooby-Doo reference.
Yes.
I forgot about that. The original hypothesis was that it was a farmer who was pissed about people being on his land, so he put a mask on and like attacked a dude and got smashed by a scythe like 4 times.
Yeah.
So
no, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And it seems to me also, was it the Mill Race monster where there was the big monster hunt? Where it was also supposed to be punk kids
and a ghillie
bed sheets and fucking
yeah.
Halloween masks or some shit. So I mean, that's just a classic fucking old timey trope, I guess.
It's just fucking.
It's fucking weird. But yes, this clearly is not a bed sheet and a Halloween mask.
No,
it's not Farmer Jenkins. There are no meddling kids.
No.
I've told a couple of people about this incident, and they were obviously pretty skeptical. Having never heard about anything with this description before or since, I had mostly put it in the back of my mind. I don't know what the thing was, where it came from, or why 2 people 50 years apart on opposite sides of the world saw the same creature.
Now that's the fucking, that's it
Well, that's
right
the
there.
rub.
How weird, dude.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
Yeah. All right, we'll just wrap this up and we'll discuss it. I've attached some maps of the area to give a bit more context. One of them I've drawn some lines on to show my movement and the direction. Blue is my path from the bus stop. Yellow dot is where I saw it. Red is where the creature was, and the yellow line is me running for my life.
Oh, there's a legend. I'm so bad.
I mean, actually, now that he describes it like that, I totally get what he's doing here. I completely see where he was walking, where he fucking bucked.
Yeah.
That's honestly, I love that attention to detail.
It's fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you so much.
Hopefully one day someone will figure out what this thing is, but I'd rather it not be me. Like I said, actual terror. One run-in with this thing was enough. With luck, I'll be back in contact with you again at some point, as I've never heard about the Silver Man of Risley, but my father did used to work for the atomic energy in the area.
This dude is living in the heart of Cryptopia over there.
Yeah, no
apparently.
doubt. Really, though. I'm going to ask around and see if I can dig up anything extra on it. Stay awesome, guys. Dan. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
And thank you for looking into that. The Risley Silver Man is one of my favorites, too.
Dude, I'm like, Dan, we have an acolyte position opening up.
Yeah. Right.
And it is acolyte.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Yeah. No, dude. I mean, if Dan is living in the fucking heart of everything over there.
Atomic energy.
Yeah. Now, the map that he sent here to kind of illustrate, like you said, where he's walking, where he sees it, where it runs. Obviously, this
this makes sense. Yeah.
Totally like near like a wooded area. Very
a densely wooded area in a small
but it is
suburban housing arena too.
It's like here there's houses, there's suburbia, then there's like a patch.
Yeah,
like I can't see beyond that, but that's what it looks like it is.
There's a lot of people in this area though, which is interesting.
Oh yeah, that is.
So and because like he states pretty clearly here that this is literally seen 50 years apart, continents apart, 50 years in continents, 50 years and a continent apart is what I meant to say. Yeah, that's fucking bizarre, man. So like, all right, are we talking about clearly this thing didn't hitch a ride to England?
Again, we're
which makes me think, man, fucking phantasmagorical.
We're faced with the same problem, which this is. I mean, it seems like a biological entity. I mean,
it does,
I don't know if it's bipedal or not, but I mean, it's a mammal. It seems like I mean, the white eyes or at least the reflection. But a lot of animals have pointy ears. Enough animals have tusks, are hairy, are primate-like. Mm-hmm. None of them happen to live on Earth that we know of. But But the thing is, it can't possibly be that, because there is nothing that fits that biological description in the zoological record, in the fossil record.
It's fucking weird.
Neither in Georgia nor in the Newbridge Road there, Newbridge Circle.
Mm-hmm.
And so And so then we have to go to what you were saying, perhaps phantasmagorical also, and because you have to do it, and it tends to be just a smidge more potentially, I don't know, fucking reasonably scientific, even though even I blanch when I say that, extraterrestrial. Because up until, seeing a nearly identical creature that far apart, it's like, there's just no way. Like maybe some weird throwback fucker is living in the wilds of Georgia, but England's much harder. It's an island. Yeah. It's much smaller. There are Bigfoot sightings. There are the green men sightings. There are all sorts of dog men.
Cannock Chase.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of things, and yet none of them could possibly be indigenous populations with a breeding population in the whole 9 yards you'd need.
And just for the record, real quick, I want to say I do not know where Cannock Chase is located in relation to this, because all of our folks from across the pond are probably yelling at me. I don't know your area.
Dude, we don't know what's south of Pennsylvania.
I'm just saying. I'm stating Cannock Chase is located over there, yonder on your land.
Geography is not our strong suit.
Oh, interesting. Look, if you look at page 4 down here, this picture.
Okay.
Right. Like if you look at the first one where he's got the red dot, and if you go to page 4, you can see that is a very enclosed patch of woods.
You're right.
Yeah, that is.
Right. I mean, there is suburbia all around. That is so like
it looked much bigger in the close shot, but that
I just noticed it.
So that makes me think like this thing's passing through, dude. What if the Great Ghost of Kinchafoonee did go international?
Well, or maybe it's another maybe there's passageways. Yeah. I mean, there's no way it's just people would.
Did you just fucking burrow a hole under the Atlantic?
He did, bitch. Hollow Earth. What the fuck is that?
Oh my God. What is going on?
Yeah,
Chris, you did this.
He did, yes.
I'm saying maybe there's offshoot. Dude,
why not?
Fucking Pangea, like there was a thing, right? So maybe
we all saw Kong versus Zilla. Dude, what happens in the Middle Earth? Fucking floating monkeys.
I mean, it's a big enough island. I'm just saying. If you look at this patch, this is trapped.
You're right.
Around suburbia.
No, this is not where it lives forever. This is not its forever home.
It makes sense with the whole burrowing underground thing, even going back to Copenhagen, because you're talking about years apart.
Oh, yeah.
These things are underground, man. It's doing the fucking underground shit.
All right, but
popping up here, popping up there. Getting aggressive with folks. Getting aggressive with the human race.
Okay. I'm going to let you do your thing.
Yeah, dude, that could be it. Okay. Chris fucking nailed this, and I'm just going to ruin it.
All right, you guys.
oh my
Jesus
God,
Christ.
This ties into the Hollow Earth and the Darrows, dude.
Does it, though?
And then it goes right back to goddamn John Edmonds, our fucking hero.
All right, can I bring it back to fucking our branding?
Yes.
I went space. Why we can't disregard hell?
Well, I mean burrowing could be hell.
Pointy ears, tusks, white eyes.
Okay,
the tusks, man.
A little demonish, a little demonish.
I mean, I don't technically believe in demons, as we've established. But if there's going to be a fucking demon, hell is the ultimate subterranean domain. So I mean, you don't even need a fucking secret passage under Pangea Atlanticus.
I just love how it matters.
Yeah.
That's fucking great, dude.
That shit's down.
I want that as a quote on my wall when my wife has the home sign. I just want
we have so many plaques we're going to put up in the studio.
Oh, shit. All right, so Hell or Space, man. We're going for Hell. You're going for Phantasmagorical.
Well,
I want to go Phantasmagorical, too, but Chris fucked everything up with the tunnels in the earth.
I love the idea of subterranean creatures. You know that.
Yeah, man.
The mole men or fucking mole people, whatever that fucking movie was from the 50s. I love John Agar.
Yeah.
Had fucking Beaumont there from Leave It to Beaver. It's a fun movie. Those creatures sucked, but I love the idea of a whole subset of species that we don't know shit about because they have no need to come to the surface.
Yeah, dude.
They're spending all their time eating corpses, ripping off Guillermo del Toro.
That's me.
Fucking doing whatever they do. I love that idea of just this whole subset of cryptids that are fucking burrowers. And then occasionally they show up. And this could technically apply to both of these things.
Could, yeah.
But again, even though a lack of fucking UFOs, it could be extraterrestrial. But then, especially after our Stardust Odyssey, portals ahoy.
Yeah, the interdimensional angle, man. No one ever sees that coming.
Thinning the veil, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's so much easier than digging a hole or swimming or doing anything else.
Is it?
But it's also lazy and it's also magic whaley.
All right, well, hold
It
on.
pisses me off a
Hold
little.
on.
Is it like a zombie warthog?
I mean,
White eyes, tusks.
yeah, the white eyes are the
Okay, no,
dead.
it's a zombie
Werehog.
warthog.
Werewolf.
Right? Because I'm assuming it's bipedal.
Ooh.
I mean, we're assuming. We don't know. It was on its haunches.
Could we be dealing with some sort of were creature in both of these circumstances?
Okay,
Or
so
just a zombie warthog?
Yeah, I don't
would-
want to take zombie off the table.
what would transform like that? Because it's true, the Kinchafoonee thing and the entity that Dan is talking about here
Yeah.
are
Some
definitely
sort of-
have tusky hog-like elements,
Yep.
primate elements.
Yep.
The pointy
Yeah.
ear thing is all.
the-
I mean,
yeah.
but then pigs have pointy ears.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Could be
is
some-
it like
could
pig
be-
humanoid?
Could
I mean,
be some sort of weird transformation, though,
Oh,
man.
a pigaloid?
A pigaloid.
A fucking pigaloid?
I
The
mean,
year of the pigaloids.
are we talking about and again the infamous
era.
Dr. Monroe, an experiment gone awry?
Oh, it's just like fucking Swamp Thing, right?
Hey,
Remember?
yeah,
Cable.
fucking-
Yeah,
oh, what was the
dude.
doctor's name? Louis Jordan played him. Dr. Erasmus? No, I'm not getting his
Dr.
name wrong.
Arcade?
Yes,
yeah, Dr.
Arcadian?
Arcade, yeah.
No, not
Was it
Arcade.
Arcadian?
Arcane?
Maybe. Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute.
Arcane,
No, I
maybe.
gotta
Definitely
look.
wasn't arcade.
No, you're right. That's dumb.
Anyway, one dude got
It's-
pigaloided.
He did.
Yeah, 100%.
Dude,
Yeah.
he totally got
He-
pigaloided.
He was the bald guy that was in
Yeah,
all
he's
sorts of
like, yes.
crazy movies.
Yes.
He was not
Right?
happy.
He did get pigaloid, right?
Oh,
Wait,
totally.
Or
Yeah.
did he get
Or,
heads,
or did the little
heads-
person? No, he became a little person pigaloid with tusks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh my God.
right,
he
yeah.
turned into a Kinchafoonee.
He did like a little hairless Kinchafoonee.
Okay.
But having these two things,
Regardless.
okay, having these two things so far apart, I do like the pigaloid. The pigaloid thing's a good idea.
So
Some sort of-
subterranean pigaloids
Yeah,
that
but
have been there
I-
since a time immemorial,
I like-
or were they constructed by Stalin's government to invade the West, and only two got away?
Oh God, you're bringing.
I mean,
Stalin
I'm
into
just saying
this?
not?
this is
Okay.
a small patch.
Yeah.
That's what I was pointing
Which
out.
makes me think maybe this
Like,
is some sort of
Small
it's-
batch mutants.
It's a small
Yeah.
patch. So either
craft mutants.
small bad.
maybe it is a mutated weird thing. Like we have the white deer because they're fenced in over
Right.
around. In,
Oh yeah.
And
right.
incest is
So
a-
they
Yeah.
mutanted into white deer. They're not albino. They're just I
Doesn't
think
help the
I think they're
DNA.
just white deer.
No, you keep.
So
dipping
maybe there's
that
some sort of
pool.
mutant element to being trapped in civilization.
Yeah. Okay. All
I am
right. And-
delighted and befuddled that it showed up twice.
yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, by definition, a cryptid. It's an animal
No,
and it's
no, yeah,
unidentified.
yeah,
but
yeah.
it can't possibly be a fucking cryptid
No.
because there is no context for it
there's
in
no
either
biological.
case, no precedent,
Yeah.
Well,
no possibility of a breeding population.
I mean, if any other listeners that we have out there have run-ins with either the Gray Ghost of Kinchafoonee or the Copenhagen Devil, like let us know. Because what if this is just one of those weird phenomena things that people happen to fucking run into these things?
What if
kind of
they
like winged humanoids? They're spotted everywhere.
What if they're destined to
Yeah.
go to war?
I guess
What if
too.
these two
Ooh.
characters that you just put together because look, it's a follow up from
Yeah.
stories we did in the past, and it was reasonable. What if they really are tied together? What if you were tapping into the Akashic record and you saw the deeper truth of the war of the Copenhagen
It's been a
Devils
while.
and the Kinchafoonee fucking pigloids?
Now, don't forget the synchronicity here from the first story where he just happened to, the podcast was on shuffle, and what came up? The Copenhagen Devil. Who experienced the Copenhagen Devil? Him and his wife up there in Copenhagen, New York, located near us, the Cryptonaut podcast, geographically far from where the Gray Ghost Kinchafoonee
Preach on,
came-
brother.
But his dad also worked for Big Energy over
But
there.
latitude
So
wise,
it's tied.
it's not that far apart.
That's
latitude
true.
wise.
Right there.
Oh.
Right along the old lake monster.
Yeah, that's
fucking
right. The
line.
latitude.
Global responsibility. Just saying.
Oh, it's time.
God damn it. Oh,
We have
there.
to man up. Step to the mic.
Oh my God, there it is. Holy shit. Listener Stories Part 23. Thank you.
you, Dustin and
That
Dan.
was awesome. That's
yeah,
such
those
a
were
cool.
dope.
They
They
were
were
good,
dope.
man. That was such a cool follow up. That.
I'm glad we got to relive those. Those are two stories that I hadn't thought about in
Oh,
a long
yeah,
time
dude.
that I really delighted in, and that is another part. Not only are we hearing stories that we've never heard before, but to get follow ups on
Yeah.
things we dealt with, and we don't have any fucking explanation at all. But
Oh,
it
no.
is fascinating, and it really just goes to show you that high strangeness, it fucking has no master. That bitch does what it wants where it wants, and fucking you got to deal with it.
Yeah, man, shit, there it is. Thank you all for joining us again. Cryptonaut Podcast, Listener Stories, Part 23. Yes, I got it right there. Robert, Patreon, shout-outs, good sir, for the folks who support us over there at patreon.com/Cryptonaut
God bless them, everyone.
Podcast. And we mentioned at the top of the show, yes, there is a new free feature. It is a follow. If you want to follow the podcast, see how many things we put up, how often we put them up, you can do that. You are getting nothing for free. We are sorry for the confusion. Patreon is
You will get a
pain in the ass.
Mothman Supercut for free.
You will get a
from
Mothman
Patreon.
Supercut from free. Yeah, well, there is free episodes on there that we've like released as pods, so we've put them to like public releases, but that's not really that often. But yeah, if you want to check it out and be like, I'm gonna get my toes dipped in a little bit of the old Patreon for I give the $1 or for I give the $5. You want to see what we offer? There you go. Because there's always a new episode on a Sunday.
That's true.
Yeah, and then we have the proper episode out on the regular feed on Monday. So you
At
get it
least
back to back.
4 every month.
4. There you go. You get it back to back.
But these patrons,
yes, they
these
support
wonderful
us.
souls, these individuals that support us, that make this beautiful fucking studio possible,
Yeah.
our lifestyle, and our ability to continue to communicate about these fucking wicked creatures. Thank you all, and I'm going to begin listing this week's patrons.
All right, let's do it.
John Newman,
Thank you, John.
Louis Escobar,
Thank you, Lou Escobar.
Jared Martinez,
Hell yeah, Jared.
Brigadier Bjorn,
Yeah, love it. Thank you so much.
Lee Alfano,
Hell yeah, Lee.
John Stein,
What up, John?
Funky Nighty,
Oh,
Funky Nighty.
Funky Nighty. I like it.
Amber Bornhorst,
Amber, thank you so much.
Jarrett Cornelius,
Hell yeah, Jarrett.
Ryan Sandoval,
Hell yeah, Ryan.
Joseph Crawford,
Thank you, Joseph.
Randall Cahoon.
Randall Calhoun. Thank you, Cat. Sorry,
no Cal.
Calhoun.
No L.
No,
Yeah.
Randall Calhoun. Thank you.
Cahoon.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
That's how I
Nice.
say it.
Nice.
James Parker,
Thank you, James.
Keith C,
Thank you, Keith.
Adam. Oh, he gives a thing. I almost said Klogowicz,
Yep, no.
but that's not it. Last name is pronounced Klugowitz.
Thank you, Adam.
Klugowitz.
We
Adam
appreciate the
Klugowitz.
spelling too. The breaking it down phonetically
Oh,
helps.
God bless you, Mr.
Hell yeah.
Klugowitz.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, I did it slow, but I did it right.
You did.
You did.
Yes, indeed.
Sawyer Thompson,
Thank you, Sawyer.
Ashley Lauren,
Thank you, Ashley.
Brock Cisneros.
Oh, thank you, Brock.
Cisneros. What was that goddamn fucking helicopter that Prince Charles fucking flew?
The fucking Bjorky Borky or whatever it's
the,
called.
The skim Schnorkenstein.
Oh, the Skimpleborg.
Oh,
I don't
Skizorsky.
The
Skizor-
No,
this-
Skiskorsky.
Skiskorsky.
That's what
yeah,
we
something
kept,
like that.
we kept saying.
It's a Patreon
the
reference.
Skiskorsky.
Skikorsky.
Anyway, he saved mankind.
Cisneros. Nice, the Skiskorsky.
He did save mankind, apparently.
Oh, he did.
According to
In
a
Canadian
Anyway.
kind.
according to a
More
diver,
importantly,
according to a diver, he saved mankind.
Yeah.
John Stepik.
Thank you, John.
Shelley Latour.
Thank you, Shelley.
And rounding it out, last but most fucking assuredly not least, 3 Opossum Moon. One word.
That is something else.
Isn't this 3 Possum Moon?
No, that's an
No,
opossum.
there's an O in there, dude. 3 opossum moon.
Isn't Oh, that's right. Opossum.
Oh.
Oh, your brain just omits letters.
Dude, I can't read. We know Rob has a whole program.
It's true.
He contacted
He
Dolly
has
Parton
a whole program.
for me.
I
yeah.
did, and I got you the baby books, and you're
Dolly
doing,
Parton?
You're doing great.
Yeah,
she
you
gives
Got a hold of
books.
Dolly Parton, and she's
Sure.
like, Dash sucks. And
Yeah.
gave you
No.
Yes, dude. She's like,
SRAs.
yes, dude.
She never says anyone sucks.
SRAs.
She's a saint.
Is that still a thing?
I had those. Those are the books in elementary
Those
school.
like
that-
little packets or whatever?
yes, and,
The
and
SRAs?
and they were colored, right? Depending on it was a
your
color,
level.
Yeah, it was color code depending on your level. And my
Yep.
code was always low. It was always like the red. It was like he's in trouble. He can't fucking read.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
He's doing the lowest color wavelength. He's dumb.
Ooh, he's so
I
primary.
forgot about
I'm
those
doing the
things.
violent SRAs.
Dude, I forgot about those things. The little books. I'm having to take them home and read them. Like I'm dumb and go and read my little
Oh, I
book, and I couldn't read.
Yeah,
You know what?
SRAs.
I never saw those.
I don't understand like the kids and what they're doing now, but I'm so fucking stoked that my kids are smart.
God bless.
Like it's so weird. Like
you always have to root for the
because
generation.
my wife
to do
and I
it better.
struggled in school
I mean,
constantly.
yeah, you should.
Dude,
for
these
sure.
kids are all like honor roll. Like my son and daughter, like honor roll
Oh,
students.
they're brilliant.
It's crazy. They have all this smart shit.
And in all fairness, you're no slouch, buddy.
Well, I mean,
hey, you had to
know.
overcome a lot of dumpsters and ho-hos and fucking
Dude,
adversarial
I had to fight-
situations.
I
You
had to
got
fight-
past the dumpster incident.
You did.
You came out on top.
I brought that up recently because my son was talking about people like running away from home like kids. And he was like, well, Dad ran away, and he went in a dumpster. And I was like, hey, son of a bitch, don't fucking bring this up to me.
Dad ran away. He went in the dumpster. Hey,
Like for an hour.
Exactly. No, it was like, I was there for a while. All right, man. I just
couple hours.
I ate my rations. If I would have rationed the ho-hos, I would have been able to stay there longer, at least till dark, and then get scared and go home.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
3 Opossum Moon.
Yeah.
I love it. It's the best. Before we get out of here, speaking of Patreon, again, Cryptonaut. God damn it. I can't come up with a freaking URL. It is patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. We got a movie night coming up Saturday, October 28th, 8:30 p.m. Actually, I believe, let me look at my calendar if I'm not wrong. This is coming out on the week. This is coming out the 23rd. So when this comes out on that Monday, it is that Saturday, the 28th. So when you're listening to this, dude, you're getting the heads up. It's right there.
Right on.
This is on Friday. This is on Monday, but it's coming out on Saturday.
You know, if
it's
you
called
haven't
pot time, dude.
If you haven't done it and you're a patron, do yourself a favor. It's fun. It's a great community.
It is
Everyone
awesome.
involved is dope. And we basically, I mean, the three of us are talking smack, but we watch the movie too. It's not like Mystery Science Theater. We're not like constantly overlapping. We're enjoying the movie and filling you in with some shit. But at the end, we have a nice conversation. It's really worth a visit. So if you haven't done it yet or you just don't think it's your bag, give it a shot. It's some Halloween fun. Plus, it's a classic, surreal, hallucinogenically Lovecraftian Italian horror film by the late, great Lucio Fulci. It is really one of the movies that made me addicted to Italian horror films, and it's one of the great treasures of the world, Italian horror from the 70s and early 80s. So do yourself a favor. If you haven't done it yet, give it a shot because it's fucking super fun, and everyone involved is dope as shit. And we all love talking to you guys. It's great. So it gives us a chance to interact in a way that we don't usually get to do. So show up.
So again, check that out. It is tied to your Patreon tier on the $1 or the $5. There you have it. We got the Instas and the Twitters and the Facebooks. We're out there on social media destroying the very fabric of America. That's fine though, because we're there doing it. We got merch for sale.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Buy our merch at hellerspace.com or cryptonautmerch.com. Get yourself some T-shirts. It's getting cold out there. Get yourself some long sleeves. Bundle yourself up because the winter is on its way. Mm-hmm. And the holidays are around the corner, so you can get me, Mom, Pa, and Peepaw. You get them some fucking sweet shirts and shit there. Get Grandma a cool tank top.
Are we going to have some more designs before Christmas? I think we will.
We will.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's at least two I can think of.
Oh,
and I've been working on some other illustrations that you're going to do some beautiful text work for.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
This is all news to me. Well, Chris's is not news to me, but this is news to me.
Yeah.
I'm excited. All right, so
dude, yeah.
possibility.
And a whole new sticker sheet, bitches.
Oh, shit. We got new T-shirts and some stickers?
Hell yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm
Cartoon
excited for that.
Cryptid show.
Oh, nice. I'm fucking stoked. So check that out. All this will be in the description of this podcast. Real quick links. You can go there. Boom, boom, boom. There you have it. Thank you all so very much. Enjoy the spooky season. We're talking to you soon.
Okay, goodbye.
Like my little cobra that I had here.
No, yeah, you did a
It was
thing.
the Cobra Fist.
Yeah.
It was nice.
The ascending claw.
Yeah, dude, it's coming
was
up.
kind of
coming
hypnotic.
up. Yeah.
But you didn't deliver the strike.
I didn't have to.
You're right.
It's all about the intention.
Because the threat was there.
What is the ascending claw going to do?
You don't know. It's just come up like this and then it's just gone.
Oh, it
It
relaxed.
just gets you scared.
It really did.
There it is.
I got a little chub.
Oh, shit. This
what
sir,
happens when I get
this
scared.
Good sir
What can I do?
This is not for hand jobs,
Oh,
good sir. Okay.
hey, I
this is
jumped.
not. There it is.
Ascending claw is never for that.
No.
I never said it was.
Well,
hey, don't read into my shit, huh?
Well, it might be. All right, bye.
But yeah.
Fucking Christ.